Yes, 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 yes. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Whether you are part of an NFL fandom, or you just like football, or maybe you don't like football at all, that's okay. Tonight on episode 2 of MOOF, where we are looking for the most overly optimistic fan base in the NFL, we're talking about the Chargers tonight. This is the second episode. If you missed episode 1, you can go back and watch it on my channel where we talk about the Rams. But tonight we are breaking down the Los Angeles Chargers schedule. And of course, bye week hot take segment is coming up. The Chargers have a lot to be optimistic about. They made some splash trades this offseason. They had a pretty good draft. They made some big signings in the free agent market. They got a superstar quarterback that you might have heard of. So let's see how optimistic Chargers fans are this season. Right after this. And joining me today is none other than Bolt Dad, who has quickly become one of my favorite Chargers fans. If you go check out his channel, it is the link to his channel is in the description below, so make sure to go give him a sub. But Bolt Dad, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fun time tonight talking about your Chargers, talking some football. But let's start off with just maybe help us understand, why are LA Chargers fans optimistic about this 2022 season?
The real question is, how could they not be, right? So you kind of alluded to it a little bit, right? So superstar quarterback. Hey, I can answer that one. Justin Herbert. Yeah, and so that's number one, right? We can get into all the background and what led us to that point, but we are where we are. We have a record-setting quarterback. I think as much as we love Philip Rivers, and a lot of us diehard Charger fans for years loved him, there's it's a unique, different feel this time around, this year, this off season, and it's a vibe that we have never felt as a fan base, or at least I will say never. I wouldn't say that. We haven't felt in a very, very long time, and maybe never for a lot of the newer Charger fans in the past, 10 years or so. So it's unique. It's different. I even watched a Charger game with a local fan of I'm in Northern California, and there's a Raiders fan who has watched the game with me, and he's like, "Man, that boy Herbert, he's something different." I'm like, I'm watching, learning, loving everything I'm watching as in real time, and I'm just blown away. And for a Raiders fan, even to admit that he's as good as he is, and now we have this off season with all these insane free agent acquisition signings. Our draft was fantastic, and there's just it's building up to something that we feel like could actually not only take us deep in the playoffs, but do what you guys did last year, and actually somehow pull it off and have a Super Bowl. We were never like a franchise that was quote unquote truly cursed, like Boston or whatever like that. But there was always that aura of like we kind of felt cursed a little bit sometimes. We charged it again. It doesn't feel like that anymore. It just doesn't. And you can even hear it on broadcasters' voices when you hear them talk on the and on during the broadcast. They're just like, "Oh, wow, these aren't the same old Chargers anymore," And I don't know. It just, all these things are culminating to make me like just way over the top excited. I know every fan gets that way this time of year. I know every team feels like they made the best free agent acquisitions and signings, and I don't know. It's almost overwhelming though this time. Like, I'll give you an example. Before free agency really even kicked off was the big Cleo Mack trade.
Yeah.
for a second round pick. And, like, we're just like, wait, what just happened? What just happened? I check Twitter, all social media, like, is this real? This has got to be fake. Like, oh my gosh, it's real. And then we literally get the best Mr. INT, the best corner in free agency. And the first day of free agency, and that alone, to get a player in free agency in the first day in free agency and be a real player who's truly dominant, not just hype, but statistically is just fantastic. And then free agent pickup after free agent pickup after free agent pickup. It was unrelenting. I mean, we even took some of your guys, and
a lot of our guys.
yeah, it is what it is, right? Familiarity, right, with Brandon Staley.
Yeah, that happens all the time in the NFL.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Rams fans have kind of been spoiled leading up to your Super Bowl, in that the way your GM and head coach have been handling just all in, screw our draft picks for the rest of time. We're all in for this season. It's fundamentally changed the way teams are approaching it, and fundamentally changing the way Chargers have approached it. I think there might be an extra sense of urgency because, there's this whole fight for LA thing that was a thing for a little bit. And I feel like you guys created a model that the Chargers specifically, and I think Brandon Staley specifically, are like, say, hey, this is a winning model. We have the right pieces in place. We had the worst, well, almost the worst, I think it was 30th ranked defense last season. And people are like, oh, Justin Herbert, he's great, but he's not a winning quarterback. Well, I don't want to get into the Joe Burrow conversation necessarily, but he had the 17th ranked defense. The difference between the 30th and the 17th ranked defense is quite staggering. And name the last quarterback that's dragged a 30th ranked defense into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, Bolt Dad, we are going to get going here on the record position. I do have to give a couple of shout-outs. Wildman Samurai, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That is so generous of you. I see Ben, Grandizer, Remilius Sports Report, Rams House, CW. Great to see you all in the chat. And anyone who's watching along with us, as we're predicting game by game, put a W in the chat if you think the Chargers are going to win, or put an L if you think the Chargers are going to take an L. Feel free to disagree with Bolt Dad. We'll see what's up with that. And I do see Jets Chaos with Jeremy. Lots of cool people in the chat today. Oh, that's awesome.
I don't see any L's in the forecast. I'm just saying that. I don't know.
Well, let's get into it here. Week one. You start off with, this AFC West is just going to be such a fun division race this year. And you start off with a division rival. You are starting in SoFi, taking on the Las Vegas Raiders.
Boo! Sorry, go ahead.
No, I did the same thing to Raiders. No worries.
Yeah. So you just want me to dive in and tell you my prediction and maybe the reason why? How we? Yeah. Okay. So my prediction for this is a win. I think this is a flat out revenge game. We have a bitter taste in our mouth as fans. I can only imagine as players the way it ended, and so flat out.
Yeah, that was so awkward.
Yeah. If you want to, we can dive into that. But just for this sake, to help you keep on track, because I can get derailed pretty quick with that game in particular. But it's a revenge game. Yeah. I think really they're going to attack this whole off season with and they're just going to narrow it down, and they're going to say, okay, let's focus, get all our attention on the Raiders, and how with all of that, they're going to be healthy going into off season and coming out of the off season, and they're just going to be in attack mode. And I can't wait to see it. It's going to be exciting. it's definitely a win for the Chargers on
Okay.
week 1.
I do see an L in the chat, a win in the chat, and Grand Eyes are saying you're gonna tie.
A tie.
Wouldn't that be
Interesting.
ironic?
Oh, come on.
But then moving on, you do have a short week right off the get-go, and you are going from one division rival to another one, and you are headed to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Win or lose in prime time.
So I know this is super optimistic time of year, and so I do have some L's, believe it or not, in my prediction going forward. But this particular one, I am 100% in belief that we will come off that win from the Raiders. We're going to go into the short week again, guns blazing. I think we're going to pull off a win against the Chiefs. But one of the big reasons why is pressure, number one, but there's some also logic behind it. If we're looking at last year, how slowly it took the Chiefs to really kind of get going, it took them a while. People forget because they got into the playoffs. People forget, how slow they were out the gates last year. And now you don't have Tyreek Hill, who is just – he was a weapon like no other. We have, I think, our defense, our pass rush with Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, again, all healthy. We have Derwin James. I think it's there's going to be multiple picks. I think that game, for whatever reason, the Chiefs don't play good against us. It's a division game. So if you're looking at it from outside the division, Chiefs are dominant. But when you look at inside the division, I mean, as we all know, division games are particularly difficult. You know that when you're talking about Seattle, that sort of thing, and so even if you think it's going one way or another. So I think this one's a close game, but again, we're coming at it with a lot of steam. So this is a win for us.
Okay. So you're starting off 2-0. All right. And then you are back in SoFi and you welcome in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Win or loss?
Woo. So knowing my Chargers and my Charger fan base would probably hate me for this one. But I actually think this might be an L. The reason why is because they – I don't know how I could say this without upsetting people, but I think the revenge thing and all that. I think that's real. I think we leveled them, destroyed them on our schedule release. If you haven't seen that, go see the Chargers schedule release.
That was pretty funny.
And something about their quarterback having an atrocious year. I think he's going to have a comeback year, and I think he's going to have. They're probably going to have like I don't know. I'm guessing their season's probably going to be like a 7-win season. I think, which would be a huge turnaround for them.
Okay.
I mean, it's either we go in this super hot and we play incredibly well against really tough division opponents. I think we're going to go into this one excited, motivated, but also like, and they might let this one go. So I think it's going to be a tight one. We might be able to pull it off. I wouldn't say it might be able. We're either going to dominate them, destroy them, right? Or there might be a much more closer game than we expect.
Okay, so you're going that game here. Okay.
Yeah. So just going off Charger history, I think this could be one of those games that might catch us off guard, and so I'm thinking we could potentially lose this one. Now, Charger fans are going to look at me and be like, "Oh, you're crazy. We're going to dominate them," and I think so. I think that's a real possibility, but I think they might Jaguars might pull something off. So I'm going to say a loss.
You're predicting a lot. Okay, so you're 2-0 in your division.
I mean, there's a reason why. A reason why.
No,
here's the reasoning. My reasoning is my Chargers historically have played so well with their backs to the wall.
Yeah.
When their back is to the wall, they play lights out. So you'll see where they go from here in my predictions. But I think it's going to be a wake up call. Because no team is squeaky clean.
Yep.
And I think there's going to be some, anyway, that's my thought.
And hey, the Jags beat the Bills last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
That's true.
All right. Well, then the Chargers go on the road and you take on the Houston Texans in Houston.
We will dominate them. That is a revenge game. 100%. We let that one go. I think might do it again with Jaguars potentially, but we're going to destroy the Texans. It's not even going to be funny. It's going to be an embarrassment. And nothing against the Texans. They've been through the ringer these past few years, but I mean, we're just a better caliber team. I think we clearly are against the Jaguars too, but it's part of a revenge thing. I just think we're going to destroy them.
Okay, fair enough. And then you travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns.
Win. We had an insane game last time that we played them. I think this is going to be I think we're just going to, again, at this point, I think we're just like, we have this crazy attitude. We have at this point, the offense is clicking even better. And defense is really, really starting to understand Brandon Staley, what they want from him, and it's cohesive. And I think it's going to be a pretty easy win.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're starting off 4-1 on the season, and then you have a prime time Monday Night Football game against division rival Russell Wilson-led Denver Broncos.
We're going to win that one. I think Russell Wilson is a very, very good quarterback. I think I think there's just too much to overcome with new head coach. Okay. I think they're going to start off. They'll have, I don't know exactly what their season's gonna how it's gonna unfold, but my prediction, it's going to be up and down. Okay. I think it's going to be. They'll have some good wins. They're going to have some miserable losses. I don't think it's going to be all sunshine and roses over there as much as Bronco fans wish it to happen. It's just how even if you have the best quarterback in the world, how can you overcome that kind of change in one season? I think we're going to win, and I think it's going to be not even particularly close.
Okay. I'll buy that. So Chargers are starting off 5-1. They're up in the power rankings. People are, freaking out. Herbert's starting his campaign for MVP. And then you travel week 7. No, you're home in SoFi, and you welcome in the Seattle Seahawks.
So yeah, we're going to win Seattle. We are. By the way, when Russell Wilson was in Seattle, he never beat the Chargers, and we played very well in Seattle. So with a Russell Wilson-less Seahawks, Seahawks might surprise some people this season. Maybe I don't know. They either are going to just have a horrible season and it's going to be tragic, or they might surprise some people. It's hard to say. But I think it's going to be a close game. But I think we're going to win for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, so you are predicting 6-1, and then you are headed into the bye week, which means it's time for
bye week hot takes. The hottest takes on the bye week.
Yes, this is where we take a brief moment from predicting the NFL schedule, and we find hot takes about each NFL team from various corners of the internet. I have 3 hot takes here about the Los Angeles Chargers. Bold Dad has not seen any of these, so he's going to be reacting raw to each of these. And I try to find some that are
reacting raw. I like that. Nice.
I'm trying to find. I try to find, because some hot takes you're just like, okay, no, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to find ones that will make you think. Okay.
Okay.
So give your thoughts to these hot takes, and you watching in the chat, feel free to pipe in the chat. Love to hear your opinions as well. But the first hot take about the Chargers that I found that was kind of interesting is The Chargers should be the favorite to win the AFC West, not because of their offense, but because of their defense, with players like Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Derwin James, etc. What do you think? Good take, bad take? Do you agree with this?
Oh, come on. I actually agree. Yeah. So we were a top 5 offense last season. Justin Herbert, second year in the season in a new offense. By the way, not just a new offense, a Saints style offense, which is very complex. Just to give you a snapshot an idea of how complex it is.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about Drew Brees, as smart as he is and experienced he is. He would literally go up into each individual play with not just, I'm checking it to a run, checking it to a pass. No, he went into each play with 3 plays in his head. 3 separate plays in his head as he walked up. That's the level of difficulty that it took to master that type of offense and then to have a 5,000-yard season for Justin Herbert. So right offense, great. Again, if I haven't mentioned this, 30th ranked defense last year. Justin Herbert almost dragged a 30th ranked defense into the league. Brandon Staley is taking Sebastian Joseph Day and every other Ram that they've taken, along with Mr. INT from the Patriots. They're coming at it with Derwin James, Khalil Mack, alongside Joey Bosa. Are you kidding me? I actually completely agree with you. If we can get into a top 10 defense, it's going to, I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised at what's going to happen, because your Rams fans know better than anybody what kind of defense that you had. You guys, when Brandon Staley is with you, you didn't make it into the Super Bowl. Obviously, you did the following season, but when he was with you, you did have the number 1 ranked defense.
Absolutely.
But we didn't have when we applied that same strategy to us, we didn't have the same personnel. We had Joey Bosa, we had Derwin James. So you're like, oh, maybe that compares at least a little bit. But you had a very, very strong, and still do have a very, very strong, you have very strong depth.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we did not have. And we have addressed a lot of that somehow. By some miracle, we've addressed a lot of that in defense. Now we have true depth, and the people that he's bringing on strategically understand this complex defense that Brandon Staley's applying. So let's not having to reteach rocket science this offseason. He has a fundamental base of knowledge for all the majority of the starters on the team. Now we have backups who know what they're doing. So yes, hot take, I agree with.
Okay. All right. And then our next hot take, I know this one's going to excite you. This one I found multiple times throughout Chargers Reddit forums, Twitter, and various Facebook groups. Justin Herbert will lead the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns and win MVP next season.
Well, again, I'm a little biased, right? That would excite me, and it does excite me to even hear that might be a potential. To have that even in a thought process, in the realm of, wow, the Chargers actually have a quarterback that could win MVP.
Mm-hmm.
The passing yards, he was second in I explained that excuse me, I was so excited I'm stumbling. Last season he had over 5,000 yards, second only behind Tom Brady, and again in a new offensive scheme. By the way, new offensive scheme is important because Justin Herbert has never had, this might blow your mind if you didn't know, never had a offensive scheme more than 1 year in a row since back to high school. That's a big deal. So this is the first time in his entire collegiate or professional career he'll have the same offensive system going in from the previous season. So passing yards, check. Touchdowns, I think Austin Eckler, our backfield's improved. Austin Eckler had 20 touchdowns last year. I think, if we give if it's a balanced offense and we give a little bit to the running backs, passing touchdowns, I'm not 100% sure on that one. MVP though, hey, MVP is at its core, it's kind of you have to have a great team behind you. So if you have that defense to back you up, then you get that helps establish that legitimacy and notoriety. But then at some point, it also kind of becomes fans, who do you like more? Oh, I kind of like him. I like him. And I don't know, people didn't like Philip Rivers, so he was barely ever in the conversation, even at his best. Herbert, people just love him.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like him, right? And so I think he has a real chance if the defense steps up the way we're predicting. I'm hoping. I think MVP is a real possibility. Passing yards, 100%. Touchdowns, I mean, shoot, if he hits 50 touchdowns, incredible. But as a Chargers fan, I'd be pretty excited if he got 40. So to be honest with you.
All right. And then the final hot take that I found, and you might not like this one as much, but that's what we do on MOOF. We bring the heat on the hot takes. The Chargers will look like the best team in the AFC midseason, but choke and miss the playoffs mainly due to injury at the wide receiver position.
Injury at the wide receiver position. That's oddly specific.
It was very specific.
Interesting. Okay, well,
I think they were talking mainly about how they don't trust Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to stay healthy all season.
Okay. I can see where they might have that rationale. That's not like that type of rationale isn't like I'm enraged induced. I mean, clearly somebody's thinking logically about it, and so I can appreciate that. So this is whoever made this prediction knows the AFC West. They know the Chargers kind of history, so I can see that. So part of my justification in that loss to the Jaguars during this prediction was it's going to essentially they're going to Charger potentially a very easy to win team early on, and that's going to kick them in the butt, get them excited, get them refocused, and not just the offense but the defense, and so I think they're going to carry on through the mid and have an incredible season. There might be some hiccups here or there. All teams, unless all teams lose one or two games for the most part. So as far as injuries concerned, I just need to find I got some wood here. I'm knocking on the wood here.
Yeah.
As far as injuries are concerned, it's possible, of course, that there could be something derails it. But here's the key amongst all positions is depth, right? We have a lot of depth in defense. Now, as I had established before, we also have a lot of depth on offense. Now, this is where if we were to have, again, knock on wood, any injuries, maybe the offensive line is more Charger realistic. Defense, wide receiver position. I don't know. Maybe it's just the Charger fan in me. I can't admit that. I can't see that. We do have surprisingly good backups, players that can step up. Historically, in the short 2 years that Herbert's been in the league, he's been the type of quarterback who doesn't do the Joe Burrow, where's Jamar Chase, throw it up, catch it. And Jamar Chase goes off with tons of yards after the catch, and it makes Joe Burrow look incredible. He's not that type of quarterback. He's surprisingly calculated in his progressions for a young quarterback, and he is also very, very good about distributing the quarterback to wide receivers. And fantasy players can attest to that. Yeah. They're like, oh, Mike Williams, he started off hot. He's going to have an incredible season. And then you're like, a lot of fantasy players come to me and they're like, hey man, what's up with Mike Williams? He started off hot. Why is he not giving me the points? Well, it's because Herbert is distributed to whoever's open. Yeah. He doesn't really care. So he seems to hit Keenan Allen consistently on third downs. That seems to be pretty consistent. But beyond that, I mean, he can hit anybody. So he can make players and receivers look good. Look at Jalen Guyton with the bombs that he was making. That's a great example of a deep threat that he's Mr. Irrelevant on another team, but with Justin Herbert, I mean, he can make some very, very splashy plays. So if there was going to be injuries, I just don't see it in the wide receiver group.
Okay.
But again, I'm biased, right? So, but that's actually a very informed, I think, hot take. So I can appreciate that person coming from that perspective.
I do want to give a shout out to no, thank you. Corey Davis, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Very generous of you. Haven't heard anything about Colin Kaepernick, only that he got a workout, but we'll keep eyes on that for sure. This has been
Bye Week Hot Takes. The hottest takes on the bye week.
All right, getting back to the schedule prediction here. So after the bye week, you have the Chargers being 6-1, and then you travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Win or lose?
Ooh, so we're gonna win this. I'm just gonna say it out the gate. I don't know what if you're a Charger fan watching, you're like, what the heck, man? We're gonna win this. But I think Marcus Mariota leading the Falcons, I think they might surprise a few people.
They might steal some games.
Yeah, so I think this one's gonna be a challenge. But this is very close to my birthday, and I need a birthday win, so they're definitely gonna win.
Okay. Yeah, happy birthday on that day to you. Then you travel to San Francisco. I know Ram fans will be cheering you on this day. A Sunday night primetime matchup, and you are taking on the San Francisco 49ers.
The Bosa brothers. Oh, this is a Bosa. Yeah, the Bosa Bowl. So this is going to be a really fun one. I hope both of them stay very healthy throughout this one. I already got my tickets booked. I'm going to be at this one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm very, very excited. So on that alone, they're going to win. But I think this is going to be if both teams are healthy, I think this is going to be a very, very good game. I'm really, really excited for this one. The Niners have had for some time now a very good defense when they're healthy. Who's going to be their starting quarterback? That's going to be interesting. So I think there's going to be a little bit of drama that's going to continue throughout the season in that category. I don't know what Niners fans' takes are on that, but I think we're going to win. And I think Justin Herbert's quarterback play is going to make the difference in this one. I think the defense in the media is going to be all hyped up because of the Bosa Bowl, but I think the offense is on the Chargers is going to take over. Everybody's healthy coming in out of the bye week. And I think in that being the main factor, and I think we're definitely gonna win that one.
Okay, so you're at 8-1 now. Chargers,
what?
The Chargers hype is real. Media's freaking out. You're climbing the power rankings, and then you are in SoFi, and you welcome in for the second time on the year division rival Kansas City Chiefs. Win or lose? You predicted that you'd beat them last time. Are you sweeping the Chiefs?
We have not, with Justin Herbert, we have not swept the Chiefs yet. I think this is our year. There's something different about this year. We play really, really well against the Chiefs, especially in Arrowhead. I think it's going to be a close one. I think this is going to be an overtime again.
Okay.
And I actually think we are sweeping. I genuinely believe it because how well we play against the Chiefs. Our style of defense, and you know this again as Ram fans, you know this, is designed to stop the pass first. And that is why Mahomes struggles against us so much. Mm-hmm. He throws a lot of picks. I think Chiefs are going to start to get hot, but they just don't have the ammunition that they used to. I think by this time you're going to start to see some chinks in the armor, and my gut tells me if we're going to beat anybody and sweep them, it is the Chiefs this year, and I think that this game is going to send a message to the league that even if I'm not right on a lot of these other ones, this game in particular, if we sweep the Chiefs, it's going to send a message to the AFC West, send a message to the rest of the NFL that, oh, wait, the Chargers, they're not charging right like they normally do. This is different. This hype around Herbert is different. This defense actually has depth. It is different. This might be something that's real. And when they finally beat the Chiefs, sweep them, it's going to send that message to the rest of the NFL, and it's going to make a huge difference in how the team carries itself moving forward.
All
So,
right,
yeah,
well,
win.
the Chargers are 9-1. You have them predicted here, and that's okay. That's pretty. And Johnny Ripple, he's coming in hot with some of his hot takes on the Chargers. So next, you are traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. So once again, Ram fans will be cheering you on. Do you think the Chargers come off that huge emotional win after sweeping the Chiefs? And do you think, is this a potential trap game for the Chargers?
Yes, we're going to lose.
Oh.
I hate it. So I know I hyped everything up, but the Chargers do what the Chargers do sometimes. The media, right when the media gets super excited about them, something happens and something slips. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Chargers probably will have such an emotional ride, roller coaster, being so strong, so confident going into it. We just don't play against the Cardinals well. We haven't in a long time. And I think Kyler Murray is going to have with all the drama he's had in the offseason, I think he's going to come in and he's going to surprise some people and remind people. And keep in mind, Kyler Murray, he's interesting, right? Because he started off so hot, and then it's like he gets emotional and just within himself, and he gets so and then all the other teammates see that, and then the team just goes to garbage. But I think at this time in the season, he's still hot. He's still doing good. And so I think they're going to surprise us. And I do think we're going to lose this game potentially. And it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be mistakes on our end because we'll just be so excited. And yeah, I think a trap game is written all over this particular game.
Okay. All right. So you have them. The Chargers are at 9-2, and then you are traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders for the second time of the year. You predicted they were going to beat them the first game. Are they sweeping the Raiders too?
Yes, they are. I mean,
okay.
I can be a Charger fan and not say we're not going to sweep the Raiders. I mean, let's be honest about that. But yeah, I think we're just still. I think coming off of that Cardinals game, it's going to be similar to what our feelings with the Jaguars game. Mm-hmm. It's going to be that what the heck moment. Let's get back on a horse. Let's focus. Or a division rival. I think Carr's going to have another good year. But I think he is going to have he has a great receiving core, but I think coming off that loss that we had, we're going to be super, super amped to just destroy our division. And because the division is key. So I do believe actually we're going to sweep the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to have a good season. It pains me to say that, but I just don't, I think Josh McDaniels is a terrible head coach. Okay. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. I think he's going to forget all about that defense. I think their defense is going to stink. And that's a hot take right there. Cause I know they brought in some, let me back that up. I will say this, not going to stink. Their pass rush is going to be great. Mm-hmm. Their secondary has no depth. They're, and I think Derek Carr, I actually really like Derek Carr, believe it or not. I think he's a great, he's very underrated quarterback. But I just don't think, similar to Herbert, how he just couldn't carry that defense last season. I think Carr is just not going to be able to carry that defense, despite their great pass rush. Doesn't matter how good your pass rush though is if if your secondary isn't stopping receivers, and good luck stopping receivers in the AFC West. So
yeah, no kidding, no kidding.
yeah.
All right. Well, you're 10-2 here, and then you're headed to the no, you're in SoFi again, and you welcome in the Miami Dolphins into LA. What do you think about this game? The Dolphins are a tough team to figure out.
Yeah, right. Tua, the big Tua. So like it's so interesting because when I went into the draft of 2020 when we picked Herbert, I wanted Tua.
Okay.
I did. I wanted him. I liked him. He has that kind of Drew Brees like confidence and oh yeah, he doesn't have a huge arm, but he's intelligent. He's shifty. He's this. He's that. And then it just was a huge dud when he arrived. But I think Tua is I mean, a lot of people are making jokes like, oh, he's not going to be able to get it to Tyreek Hill, especially after some of their social media posting that one throw. He's like putting it all into the like, oh my God, this is going to be a bomb to Tyreek Hill, and then Tyreek Hill's like standing still waiting for it. I'm like, oh man, that was painful to watch. But so I think there is, as people might joke about it, I think there is a little bit to it, right? Yeah, he's got these two Lamborghinis in the garage, and who's going to drive them, right? So I think it's going to be a difficult game, but this is a revenge year.
Yeah.
The theme of this season is revenge.
The Chargers' revenge.
Yeah, in my mind, it's revenge against charging, against the stigma of the team. It's revenge again, and I say that in all seriousness.
Yeah, no, it's pardon my laughter.
No, it's all right. But we have not played well against the Dolphins. Herbert, when we lost to Tua, thing about that is Herbert played phenomenally well that season, but he couldn't figure out the Patriots defense. He couldn't figure out the Dolphins defense, and they had the similar style defense. Well, I think Herbert is going to have, he won't admit it because he kind of has this, oh, I love everybody's almost like a surfer bro mentality. He's so cool under pressure and all that, and in front of the mic. But I think this is in his mind. I think he's like, I'm not necessarily against Tua, but against the Dolphins because they lost. I think he's just going to go at it and he's going to destroy the Dolphins.
Go off. Okay.
Yeah, I think Tyreek Hill is really good against the Chargers and he's going to have some great pointers. And he's going to say, "Hey, I know them really well," and they're gonna try to get us up the middle and underneath and for huge gains after yards after the catch. But I think it's not going to be enough to stop Jay Herbo. I think he's going for it.
I do have to give a shout out to one of our resident Dolphins fan, Grandizer 12. He's saying fins up all day.
Wait, what did you say?
He's going fins up all day, every day, and twice up on game day.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Hey, no, I got nothing against the Dolphins. Generally, and the fans. I mean, you guys. Gosh, the Dolphins have had to deal with the Patriots for years, and you're like, you finally have your time to shine, and then you have all this quarterback controversy. I mean, you should have kept Fitzpatrick, but then you got in some way he felt like it was his team, and I thought that was a great chemistry, great fit. And then Tua, I don't have anything against Tua. Like I said, I liked him. I just. I don't know. It's like, what's your identity? I don't know. You don't have an identity, I think, right now.
Yeah,
and I think that's gonna
the mystery teams of next season for sure.
Yeah. So I think this is a revenge game for not Herbert against Tua like the media will hype up. I think it's Herbert against that defense, and I think we're definitely gonna win.
Okay. Well, you're at 11 wins, 2 losses. Chargers are going to be vying for the #1 seed at this rate. And then you are in SoFi and you are welcoming the Tennessee Titans to town on a Sunday afternoon game. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think we're going to lose this game. I think it's going to be close. The Tennessee Titans are a fantastic team. They have a great running back, and I think Derrick Henry's I think he's going to stay healthy. I think he's going to have a career year because he's coming off of the previous season. Well, a career year is a big statement, but he's going to have a great year, honestly, I think. They have a lot of revenge on their end that they need to exude and get that out. And I just think they're going to have a solid game. I think it's going to be a huge fight up front. I think so. I wouldn't say it's a trap game because they're a very good game, but I do think we're just going to lose to them on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your third loss on the year. You're 11 wins, and then you go to Indianapolis for a Monday Night Football matchup with the Colts, led by Matt Ryan. Win or lose?
We're winning this one. So Matt Ryan is great. He's a very good quarterback, and I think they're going to make a splash in the AFC. I think, I feel like this is also a common theme throughout this. They might surprise some people, but similar to, a few of the other teams I had mentioned, it's like Dolphins, like there's an identity there that's like, what is their identity? Are they a great defense? Are they a great offense? Well, I think they've gone through the quarterback carousel of quarterbacks for so long. And I think it's really hard for teammates who've been there long enough to keep having to re-buy into the new quarterback. This is going to be the great quarterback. I think Matt Ryan's going to have a great he's going to have success there, but not the first year. I think they're out of the playoffs by this time. I think they'll have great year the next year, but this isn't their time. This is our time. We're going to win.
Okay. All right. And then, we have you at 12 wins and 3 losses here. And then the game I'm most excited for on the Chargers schedule, it's technically a home game for the Chargers in SoFi Stadium.
Technically.
Where you welcome in the Los Angeles Rams to town. Win or lose, Battle of LA. What are you thinking about this game?
This is good. This is going to be a great game.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, are you surprised? When the schedule came out, I was shocked they made this game as late in the season as they did.
Thank you. I agree. This could be – I totally agree. I think, by this time, I think we're going to have a really good feeling of who's in the playoffs. Both teams are going to be in the playoffs, I feel, at that point. And I think we're going to beat you guys. And it's not a knock against the Rams.
Okay.
I think this, again, revenge theme. To me, this is revenge Brandon Staley against Sean McVay. I think Brandon Staley knows Sean McVay better than anybody. He has people talk about Sean McVay's recall and his memory and how he remembers every play. Going back anytime. I've seen reporters challenge him, and he's really good at it. Mm-hmm. Well, that's something Staley actually has that capability too. And he remembers and knows and understands player personnels that you have. I think and we're also have players, Sebastian Joseph Day, who he has extra motivation to really want. I think he's going to have a career or the best game of his season is going to be against you guys. I think he's already circled it on his calendar. I think he's been really excited ever since he signed with the Chargers to go up against you guys, and I think he's gonna just completely dominate. He's dominated for you guys, but it's always been in the shadow of Aaron Donald, right? So he's had great games, but of course he had a great game. Aaron Donald is right next to him, And I think
unfortunately, he's had some injury trouble last year too. Because I was really excited about him last season, and he missed most of the season due to injury. It didn't surprise me the Rams couldn't afford him, and then it didn't surprise me when he went to the Chargers. And then if you've ever checked out his YouTube channel,
I love his YouTube channel.
Yeah, Dine and Bash, where he reviews restaurants.
So good.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as we brought him on, I did research as you do, and I'm like, Dine and Bash, never heard of this. This is awesome. The production quality is incredible. I'm hoping I can interview him someday about it, just because it's amazing. Anyway,
totally.
but yeah, I think it's going to be an incredible game. I actually think it's going to be a low scoring game, because I think both defenses are going to go at it. I just, again, I'm biased, right? But I could see the Rams winning it, but I can't. So the Chargers are going to win.
All right. So we have you here. You are 13-3, and then you go into the last week of the season. You finish off the year against your division rival. You're going to Mile High Stadium to take on the Denver Broncos. Are the Chargers going to finish the year with a win?
No, and here is why. All of our starters are resting.
Okay.
We got the bye. We got it already locked up. If we've already destroyed our division, we've had it locked up by now. The last game of the season, I think it'll be a close game, but we don't play the Broncos consistently, and I think that's maybe my take on it. I think. If we had all our starters play, then I think yes, we'll win it. But I think in this case, I think we're not going to have our starters in there, so I think we might lose out.
You're predicting the Chargers get the number 1 seed in the AFC, then? Okay,
I know, a bold prediction. I get it, but
that's okay.
There's nothing. There's nothing to be ashamed of when you're completely optimistic.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick an off season to be overly optimistic, it would be this season. There's, and I don't know if my heart could take any other outcome at this point. I mean, so, that's where I'm going. So.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. And that gets us through the Chargers schedule. So you are predicting a 13-4 record for the Chargers. I must say, I love the optimism. That's what this series is all about. Because if you can't be optimistic about your team this time of year, when can you be, right?
That's right.
But Bolt Dad, thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can our viewers find you?
Well, thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. I try to be objective, but it's just hard this time of year. But you can find me on social media, on Twitter, Bolt Dad Podcast, on YouTube, same thing, Bolt Dad Podcast. Also Instagram, Bolt Dad Podcast, all the same. The thing about my YouTube and Twitter is kind of unique is that I do traditional podcast format, but I also incorporate a lot of over-the-top, ridiculous, poor quality comedy sketches, and
they're really fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And so, it's just liven it up. The thing is, the internet, as great as it is for a lot of reasons, it's become so overly produced. So just everybody's perfect looking and everything's perfect scripts and this and that. And I don't know if you recall, but YouTube back in the day was it was really raw to use your word. There was a lot of people who just, not great production quality and all that. And that's kind of the flair, I guess, retro YouTube flair I bring. It's just this really low quality, but hopefully fun entertainment. So I've had some pretty good feedback, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I love your channel. I've checked it out myself. And the link to Bolt Dad's YouTube channel is in the description below. I encourage everyone watching, whether you're on the replay or live with us now, make sure you go subscribe to Bolt Dad. Bolt Dad, hang around for a bit. We'll chat afterwards. And now we turn it over to you, the viewer. Comment below. What do you think the Chargers record is going to be? Do you agree that, 13-4 is a realistic, or do you think both dads maybe a little too optimistic about this season?
Not possible. Not possible.
Maybe you think he's being a little pessimistic, and you think no, the Chargers are going to go 17-0. Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you in the next episode when we are talking about the Indianapolis Colts.